Hello everybody, welcome back. This is Jeffrey Van Dyke.
And Tim Kelly.
Today we're talking about the wounded child. Something popularized in the 1970s, but still not necessarily understood all that well, and not always dealt with in a way that helps create transformation and movement in yourself and in your clients. Also sometimes often thought of as strictly in the realm of psychology or psychotherapy, but it's still in play, and it still comes up regardless of what sort of personal work you're doing with clients, so it still needs to be addressed. This is actually, again, about equipping you with more tools to deal with more parts of the psyche in a way that is beneficial for you, beneficial for the clients, and helps create the transformation we're all here to create.
Why don't you tell us a little bit what the wounded child is and how we make them?
Oh, yes. So when we're growing up, there are experiences that some part of the psyche deems as unacceptable and wounds the child, wounds that part of the person, wounds their experience of life and who they are, and goes about creating strategies to try to keep that wounding from happening again. So many of the parts we've been talking about so far, the protector, the skeptic, the inner critic, are all byproducts of these woundings, and are all trying to keep that wounded child safe and protected. All of us receive wounds in childhood, and it's actually a result of these wounds and all the strategies we build that we develop and grow with skills and abilities in ways that we wouldn't had we not had these woundings. So the woundings are actually essential and instrumental in our growth and development. It's like the training program for what we're really here to do in life, and the training program for our purpose. Think of it as like a gym or a Nautilus machine, that, gosh, all the result of those woundings and the parts we build as a result go about building us and growing us and developing us.
Yeah. Now, a lot of you have probably done some work with this wounded child part. There are workshops like the Hoffman process. There are cathartic techniques that are used in some spiritual practices. Many of you have perhaps done therapy or coaching where you actually touched into these younger, deeper, more wounded parts. What most of this work doesn't do, however, is actually change the fundamental dynamic internally. And it's very, very important to understand that this wounded child part is actually central to the structure of the psyche. What Jeffrey's been talking about, this wounded child creating these other parts for protective reasons, actually creates a structure in which the wound is at the center and the personality grows around it. So the wounded child is one of the most core parts in the personality and therefore the most powerful. And just releasing its feelings and doing cathartic work doesn't fundamentally alter this configuration. One of the things we've found when working with global change agents is it's actually necessary to fundamentally change this internal structure so the woundedness isn't driving the person anymore in order for them to really have the impact in the world that they're meant to have. And this is a tricky little reconfiguration technique that we've developed. Works very well.
It does indeed.
But you can do a lot of therapy, you can do a lot of workshops, you can do a lot of coaching and never actually alter this fundamental structure.
Yeah. The cool thing is that when you do, and when you can support people moving from a wound-driven psyche, with a wound being at the foundation, everything else over top, to something else. And in purpose work, we help transform it into a purpose-driven psyche, with purpose being the motivation and fuel for their life, and everything else serving the purpose. That's really one of the fundamental ways to help someone transform and release all this pent-up energy, all this fuel that's available in a new purposeful direction, in a direction that will really serve and support them in what they want and what they're here to do in the world.
Yep. In this teleclass on May 25th and further in June and July, we're going to talk very specifically about the techniques that we use and the way we go about transforming the psyche out of this wound-driven state in a way that honors the wounded child and includes it in the new structure, which is very, very important, so that you can have a new, more flexible, more purpose-driven psyche, not so much a wound-driven one where you're really unconsciously trying to prevent further wounding.
That's right. Ultimately, as we said before, this is about you doing the work you're here to do in the world and supporting other people in doing the same. So if you know that you are a change agent, if you know that you're called to help create global transformation, we're inviting you to join us.
Mm-hmm.
Join us in our community, join us on the call on the 25th, join us in June and July. However you can and however you are called, come be a part of this and help create a new world.
Yep.
That's what we're here for.
Go back and look at that email that you used to get to this video, and you'll find a link there. Go ahead and click on that link, and make sure, if you haven't done so already, to sign up for this teleclass on May 25th.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
See you then.
Bye-bye.